Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, we just 1 minute past after the 17th hour. Yes, it's episode 13 of 24 Online Entrepreneurial Survival Summit. And I'm your host, Mutawun Tapero, known as the Big Dreamer. Yes, this is another day, this is another week, and we're looking forward to learning. It's such a quite exciting because we always remind you as we start this episodes that this is brought to you live by MindThink Institute, which is a transformational educational organization that is based in the Free State with a focus in personal and business leadership. So our aim or our purpose is to effectively breed leaders who comes with global solution to solve local problems. So today, I'm quite happy because I'm hosting my president who sits in the heavyweight class in the Free State. So, but before I could introduce him, I just want to say this. It is a known fact that the long-term wellness of our economy sits in the shoulders of businesses. As we continue to search for creative ways of how we can stay operational during this critical time or during this lockdown time. It's crucial that we start to source ways of how we can ensure that income and stability is taken care of. Then I'm hoping today's speaker will do honor to our topic, which is business pivoting at the back of the pandemic, looking at digital trends. How can we take advantage of what is available? Ladies and gentlemen, today we have our speaker as Lebohang Matlabe, all the way from Bloemfontein. He's the president of the heavyweight. You saw his profile as it was sent to each and every one during the day. Lebohang Matlabe, Eriko Amohele Ntatwaka on the first ever online entrepreneurial survival to be hosted in Africa.
Thanks a lot for welcoming me as MindThink Institute and the entire family of New Minds. It's an absolute honor to be hosted by you, especially given the caliber of speakers and experts that have been on this platform. One finds himself really, really humbled. I'm looking forward to engaging and having fun tonight, and I hope that the rest of the audience is having pen, papers, notebooks, notepads, whatever that they have, so that we can begin to engage and really delve deeper into what is taking place in and around us as we find ourselves here during this important time, one of the seasons which others, they would say it's unfortunate, but to the rest like you and me, we can say this is the season where we must take full advantage of and get the best out of this.
Thank you very much, sir. Just to remind the attendees, this is our third week. The first week we focused on the mindset. The second week was about business systems. Now we're looking at what? We're looking at the business strategies. So without wasting any time, let me give our guest speaker his time to pastor to us and see how far he will get us. Ndate Matlabe, all to you, sir.
Ntate Mutaung, once again, really let me appreciate all the speakers that have been on this platform. I am really privileged to be standing on the shoulders of a firm foundation, from the very first speaker to the last speaker that spoke just before me. I find all content relevant to make me really at the position of privilege to zoom and zone in to the business or the matters of today. As you rightfully said, my name is Lebohang Matlabe, all the way from Kutlwanong, well, now a resident of Bloemfontein for various reasons and business among others. I'm just going to challenge you and I to have a new paradigm during this season. A new paradigm is where we shift a popular or a traditional way of thinking to think and look at the future with a different lens. And I believe that this is such a time where you and I should think differently about business, differently about our lives, and anything else that is going on. I think one philosopher, which I will leave his name unnamed, once said Stone Age came to halt not because the world ran out of stones, but because humanity found new ways of doing things. As you know that during Stone Age, everything was practically and literally done by stone. Everything from the spoon that you used to eat to the knife that you used to cut, almost everything was made of stone. But Stone Age era came to closure, not because we were out of stones, but because humanity found new ways of doing things. And I think such wisdom we can employ now, looking at the future, that there are certain things that are coming to near end, to dead end, not because there are certain things that we are out of, but because we are constantly finding new ways of doing things. And I just want to lay this as a foundation of my presentation. Given the time that you gave me, I would want to respect the 25 minutes that I am granted so that I make time for engagement and questions. Pivoting at the back of the pandemic. Why is this thing necessary? Number one, it's necessary because there is a traditional way of doing things, but we find ourselves in a position where we are challenged by all that is happening around us. You spoke something very powerful about raising global leaders, which are capable of understanding the geopolitical dynamics, the geo-economic dynamics, and where the trends in the world and business is going, so that they can align themselves to remain relevant, but more importantly, to be solution-driven peoples in their communities. Pivoting at the back of the pandemic because there's a traditional way of doing things, 8 to 5, and all sorts of things that we are used to as tradition. But we find ourselves now in a pandemic where change is the name of the game. There is no longer 8 to 5. For others, it's 3 to 7. Others, it's 12 to 9. So tradition is unfortunately disturbed. And I'm glad because tradition is the enemy of growth. When you become so used to doing something, you almost forget that there is an element of a possibility of growing out of the norm. Let me also cite that one of the reasons why I spoke about pivoting at the back of the pandemic, it's because of this phenomenon, this term which we coin digital economy. I know many people are used to all sorts of references when we speak about the economy, but it was until 1995 when one of the scholars came to coin this term, digital economy, in one of his books, which I think it's on the screen for the purpose of referencing, Promise and Peril in the Age of Networked Intelligence by Don Tapscott. He wrote this book way before we would fathom really or comprehend the realities that will be brought by the first changes of the fourth industrial revolution, which came 20 years later. In 2015, Professor Klaus Schwab, which is the founding president of the World Economic Forum, is the one who named or who coined the term the fourth industrial revolution and gave us what are the key drivers and what the composition of this industrial revolution. But what Don discovered is that digital economy refers to an economy that is based on digital technologies. And all these digital economies, the popularity or the accelerated change is brought about the innovation that we see each and every day across all business sectors. This digital economy, it's called internet economy, the new economy, or the web economy, depending on what term you'd want to use. So I think it's important for us as entrepreneurs to understand the economy that we are operating within and how this economy is changing from a traditional view of looking at the economy and what drives the economy. If not, we are really setting ourselves up for failure, because you cannot be successful within a system that you don't understand. A lens of the past is what all of us are produced by. A way of looking at the future, a way of interpreting business, a way of analyzing things. And it's a very military approach, and it's not our fault. I mean, you look at the ages of 1854 when the hierarchy was introduced to us, where you have a CEO on top, and then you have the middle management, and then you have those whom we call supervisors, and at the bottom you have all employees. Unfortunately, this pandemic has demonstrated to us that this can no longer be the case. This can no longer be the way we look at the future, and we certainly base or structure our businesses. This new economy demands of us to wear new lenses that will enable us to see a future at a distance. How we define wealth creation, how we define business organization, and other institutional structures is certainly changing. I mean, we just saw headlines, I think 2 weeks back, where Russia and China are thinking or considering de-linking their currencies from the US dollar, but pegging it with cryptocurrencies. And if you think within a traditional economic setup, the ability for reserve banks or federal banks becomes limited. Therefore, institutions such as SARS and all other institutions will be found wanting in the near future if we don't change the lens that we look at the future and interpret what is going to happen probably 10, 5, 15, 20 years from now, and begin to position ourselves. I spoke about the 1854 era, where a military group or a military strategist found a hierarchy that he can use to manage his military troops, where on top you'll have generals and you'll have commanders, so on and so on. I think all of us, we have an idea of what a hierarchy looks like. And the same set of thinking was now brought to business. The same set of lens was brought to how we build organizations and businesses, where you'll have someone on top, you'll have few on top, you'll have others in the middle management, and then you'll have the rest of people at the bottom. This new economy, my friend, requires you and I to build our businesses in what we call holacracy, or to take the holacratic approach in building our businesses. This simply means that all of us are working as groups. Think about this. Maybe I may just give this as a bypass nugget. The word supervisor is a popular word that is used in business today. It's a popular word that is used in organizations today. And many people, many employees are used to working under the supervision of someone. This can either be your immediate senior, this can be your boss, this can be your employer. And when you look at the grammatic construct of the word supervisor, it's constructed of two words, super and the word videre. It simply means someone who is above you supervising each and every activity that you are doing in business. Think about this. During this pandemic, how many people are working at home? If 90%, 70%, 80% of your employees are working at home, who is supervising them? Are you able to supervise them? Are you able to monitor results? Are we really concerned about us overseeing them, monitoring each and every activity that they do, or our concern is really motivated by results and reaching all that we want to reach as an organization and as a business? If there's anything on your site that needs me to pause, please just indicate to me, because I can see that people are raising hands. Thanks a lot. So that's one of the things I would want to bring to your attention. Hierarchy is dead, my friend. We are now working together as teams in our organizations to achieve the maximum potential that the organization can achieve. It's the new economy. This is what is required of us to change the way we think and how we look at our businesses and organizations going forward. One of the things I would want to bring to attention, given that I am also trained within the field of marketing, is the way in which we market our businesses, or we communicate value to our customers. There is a traditional way of thinking about where your clients are, or thinking about who your clients are. And one of the popular ways that this used to be perceived or conceived or looked at was using this thing or this technique called lifestyle measuring calculator, or LSM. If maybe how it was saying oja broto ka bacon or whatever, you would be considered as a person who belongs to a certain class. If you listen to Lesedi FM, or if you listen to a native language speaking broadcasting house, you'd be considered to be falling within a certain LSM. If you read Sunday newspaper, you'd be falling within a certain LSM. But what this pandemic has taught us, or what this new economy is teaching us, is that LSM is no longer the case. Because ngwana akwa ngwana e leng hore o fentere ngwana kutlwanong has access to information and goods or services that the same child sitting in Sandton or somewhere in the rich depths of Cape Town can access. The same music that a child in Kunu or a child somewhere in KZN listens to is the same music that a child somewhere in the world has access to. So how we look at marketing, or how we market our products and communicate in future, will no longer be about LSM. Client how, even though you are selling expensive, most top lavish lifestyle products, maybe someone whom resides in a place that you've never thought of. Therefore, we need to have digital marketing tools and techniques, which is what I avoided to speak about today, because I think it will be justice for us to understand the ecosystem of what shapes the economy, rather than to narrowly focus on a sect within the entire ecosystem. Personalized marketing is the name of the game. Customer relationship marketing is the name of the game. And I think it will make sense as I go forward with my presentation. Look at the marketing spent during coronavirus. Some of the industries that performed good and others that, well, did not perform that good. Food, healthcare, media, and pharmaceuticals slightly increased. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. When you look at all other sectors, especially if your clients are in one of this, and you're a marketing company, a marketing consultant, or a service-based business, think about what and how your clients are approaching marketing per their spending. I think it was 3 weeks back or 2 weeks back, we've heard about a company, a publishing company in South Africa, a publisher in your house and home, your Bona magazine. It's now closed. And it's not only it. We know of Destiny magazine and how it closed publishing, it ceased publishing of almost all of its major publications. We know of a company, which produces or used to produce Top Billing. They had their own magazine, but it's no longer there. So it means all this print marketing or traditional ways of approaching marketing or communicating with clients is slightly shifting. We must begin to ask ourselves the question, where are advertisers, where are businesses advertising, and how are they advertising? Are there any new methods of calculating return on investment or calculating return on advertising spend? This new economy, my friend, requires of you and I to think of the ways in which we can spend our marketing budget, if any, or use the resources that we have to reach out to our clients. Think about this pandemic where almost 90% of cars were not going anywhere. And think about the times or the contracts that billboard marketing companies had with their clients. When you came to me in my office, you said that there's about 1,500 cars that are passing through a certain stop sign, and I can put my signage there and guaranteed my sales will increase. But think about it. Some of the companies said that they are not going back to offices. They will keep working remotely. So it means people will not be driving as they used to during the day, during the morning hours or the peak hours. Therefore, will the traditional ways of marketing and looking at this marketing thing change, or it requires of us to wear new lenses? Let me pass in favor of time. There are some of the things which I really want to touch on before the end of the session. One of the things that we must really look at with new set of lenses is this phenomenon of competition. I think for the past 5, 10, 15 years, we've seen that it's not about building a mega factory. It's not about having a team of 1,000 employees. Well, we know the story of companies like Uber, companies like WhatsApp, companies, most of the fastest growing companies in the Fortune 500 of 2019. Most of them indicate to us that it's no longer about the number of employees that you have that gives you competitive advantage. But it shows to us that the smaller number you have, the more agile you become as a company, because you can twist and turn things with much ease. So that's what I want you and I to really think of in this new economy, which we call digital economy, or whichever term that you prefer. But let me pass in favor of time. Key drivers of economy today and tomorrow. What are these keys? I'm going to run as quickly as possible. You'll have to really bear with me. Post-COVID-19, during COVID-19, Momo Presidente Aiting, hugging and kissing is the thing of the past. What are these key drivers? Number one, it's knowledge. My friend, if you want your business to survive now and in future, you must be a knowledge-driven entrepreneur. I mean, you can assess all the fastest growing companies, be it locally or globally. Look at the caliber of its leaders. They are knowledge-driven individuals. And this is because we live in the knowledge-driven economy, where facts, science, knowledge, and information is continually produced each and every day. I'm not talking about qualifications now, but I'm talking about the ability to understand, the ability to study, to observe, and to learn the scenario so that you can apply the right tools at the right time. Look at the past, maybe in South African context. Bontate Richard Maponya and some of the most successful entrepreneurs we know today, they will tell you that they used to sell from the boot of their cars. Some of them, they built businesses that required physical muscles. But I can guarantee you now that the businesses of the future, and if you're going to build a business that responds to the needs of the future, you must be a knowledge-centric entrepreneur. Number two, a key driver is this, which we coin as digitization. This is important because everything now is being digital. Digital, we mean that the ability to store information, to study information, facts, and each and every spoon that moves within your office to a single solitary form of a digital data. Data. But you must be able to store almost each and every move to a piece of information. I mean, now you think of insurance companies that have the ability to study your weight when you sit on top of your car seat about to drive. You now think of the cars that when you get in, they can be able to monitor your temperature, so that even when you get to be involved in a car accident or anything, they know your temperature, they know your breathing levels. Each and every move is now down to a single form of data and information. If you want to build a business of the future, my friend, a business that will be relevant in this new economy, you must be able to find ways in which you can be digital. The third one, it's virtualization, or this one which we call virtual reality. Think about it now, how convenient it is that if I want to buy a property somewhere in Cape Town, I don't have to go there physically. I just have to wear this nice glasses and go through the kitchen, go through the yard, and go through each and everything that I want to see in my house, yet being in Bloemfontein. In future, there will be a client sitting somewhere in China asking to see your factory without coming to South Africa or down to Virgo. Will your business be able to give such people access by just being capacitated with the ability to visualize everything within their business? And I think we are slightly moving there, because we've seen even how education trends are changing, where kids and teachers, they don't have to be in a physical classroom, but they can teach and learn digitally. The other one is this one, which we call integration or networking, where all customers, players, suppliers, competitors, and the likes interact and integrate in order to survive. There is a new term which now came to be acknowledged and appreciated in business, which we call co-opetition or co-opetition. It's really a way that our businesses can cooperate in order to mutually survive rather than to compete, so that we create synergy to see and realize maximum results. In this new economy, my friend, you see that most of the companies, especially big business, they are cooperating or they are collaborating so that they see maximum results. The other one is convergence. And convergence is where we see the dominant sectors of the economy, computing, communications, and their content is now a single thing. I think this is much more evident now during COVID-19 as many statisticians and companies and CEOs are coming to give us their data, information, statistics, and also giving us the overall outlook on how they think they can effectively manage this situation. I can mention maybe in particular a company by the name of Discovery, and they produced their resilience report during this COVID-19, sharing insights, information, and statistics, data that cost them millions with their clients, with their competitors, with media, and with government. So all of this is going to be a new driver looking forward into playing in this new economy. The other one is innovation. I think Peter F. Drucker had an understanding of this when he said innovation and marketing push or are results, all the rest are cost. Each and everything in your business remains a cost, but innovation and marketing pushes results. Think about it. Innovation is no longer the responsibility of the CEO, is no longer the responsibility of the MD, is no longer the responsibility of anyone. But if you have the ability to come up with a concept, a product, a good, and a service, it's a part of innovation. But getting that to the market, being able to communicate that to the market, has the ability to bring you business clients and money. And then you will have cash flow and go to Newman's Business Consulting, and they will be able to cook and work with your books. So my friend, in this new economy, have an innovative attitude. The other one, maybe in favor of time, I should move with the speed of how train. I can see that there are some words which are a bit small. You'll have to pardon me. It's a technology. It's this term which we call prosumption. It means now in this new economy, it's no longer the responsibility of the business owner to be a producer, but a customer and a producer work together to bring goods and services into the market. Think about it this way. Amazon is now able to produce amount of goods and services that are required by the market because the market is able to give them data and information and statistics so that they don't overproduce or underproduce. Well, maybe you'd understand it better this way, where now we've seen protests in the US of A, where now individuals have been protesting that we want to be paid by or for our data and information. If you are using either Facebook, if you use Instagram or any of the social media, the amount of data you give to the algorithms, the amount of data you give to the business enables them to produce according to how you like things, how your tastes are shifting and turning, so that they are able to respond accurately to what you need. So it's no longer the responsibility of Henry Ford, but it's now the responsibility of someone who's at the end of information being able to produce according to how the consumers are responding to their platforms. So if you like Maguinya, if you like breakfast bar, the Kellogg's or anything, and you consistently post about it on social media, those who are at the top, they are able to study the trends, the tastes, and the desires of the market. and they are able then to produce. My friend, if you are going to build a business of the future, or you are going to be relevant in this new economy, you must be able to understand how your consumers are playing part in producing goods and services for themselves. The other one is immediacy. I'm nearing closure now. Well, we have seen that e-commerce has been one of the most favored business sectors during this time. But most importantly, are those businesses which can be able to be convenient for you, are those businesses that are able to save you time. We have seen now that in the US of A, Amazon has built a service, an exclusive product for their users, where you just order something now and in less than 7 hours, it is delivered, no matter the kind of a product or the complexity that the product requires. The more they shorten the time span of you ordering and them delivering, the more relevant they are to the consumers and to the market. We have seen even how the likes of Uber are the example in the recent times of the same convenience response to the market needs, where they respond on the basis of time, saving time not only for you, but for them and the rest of the world, because reality is that all of us are busy. There are almost too many things to do, and there's so much time to complete all the tasks that you have. The other one is globalization. Interaction and integration among people, companies, and governments worldwide. It's something that I don't even have to make examples of, because COVID-19 has clearly demonstrated to us that something can break out in Wuhan, somewhere in Asia and China. 6 weeks later, you find the same disease, you find the same pandemic knocking on your door, and you are subjected to wearing a mask almost each and every day until God knows when a vaccine will be discovered. So globalization is a new name of the game. And I love it because my host spoke about raising global leaders. So your understanding of the global dynamics becomes very, very important. The last one is the digital divide. Well, this one is clearly demonstrated now, where some of the kids or some of the citizens are able to access digital tools, are able to access digital information that puts them in a place of an advantage. But in as much as that is happening, there is a significant number of us who are left behind. So those who are left behind will need goods and services, ideas, and people who are innovative to address that need. The same way now in Africa, we have the biggest, or we are the biggest mobile penetration zone. Think about it. Countries like Sweden and China, they are able to trade goods and services using 90% cashless payment methods, where if you meet a street hawker, you don't need to have cash, but you can pay with your cell phone, you can pay with your finger, or any item that you have, even your smartwatch. And yet us, we are a bit behind. In all that you do, given what I said, I want you to take note of something which I believe is important, which is that data is the new oil. And I hope that this slide or this part of the presentation can give you an ability to see what I mean by this. Where you have industrial factories that used to mine oil. But in today's economy, you see that companies, businesses, all of them are mining one thing, but data. Think of all the fastest growing businesses. As a matter of fact, the fastest growing business of 2019 is a company based in China. It's called Momo. It's actually demonstrating to us the ability to gather facts about each and every one that is using their platform. If you are running a hair salon, do you know how many clients come to you in a day? Do you know where they stay? Do you know how much they spend on average? Do you know what are they having for breakfast? All those things are important, looming into the future, so that you can be able to make precise decisions for your business. I'll make 2 examples of some of the industries that have mastered this and somehow we did not see it coming. When you go to a restaurant and they have a free Wi-Fi service, they ask you your age, they ask you your email address, they ask you your particulars so that they are able to see the number or the age group of individuals that goes to their restaurant, and they're able to study their dynamics and their market or their demographic background. When you go to a hotel, same thing happens. For you to access their free Wi-Fi, you need to have to load them your information, which is the data that they are going to use now and in future to make informed decisions so that their business is able to survive. Think about it. Even when you go to retail stores, there are shops where they are not going to give you a physical slip, but they are going to insist that you put or give them your email and your particulars so that they are able to study your spending and your behavior consumption patterns. That gives them the ability to make accurate decisions now and going to the future. This which they call big data analytics, or being able to give analysis of the past experiences. One of the most greatest African entrepreneurs, a mentor of mine, Mr. Strive Masiwa, puts it this way. He says, if you don't pivot to digital in 2020, then you are no longer in business, my friend. Ntate Motaung, ke leboha monyetla le sebaka. I'm giving you the platform now to ask me if any questions or to open for engagements with our audience. I hope I've done justice.
A lot, sir. You've done so much justice. Thank you very much. However, there are a few questions or clarification that I would need. With a simple demonstration or an example of a holocratic organization. There is Thapelo, there is Ntate Matlabe, there is Ntate Modise, there is Ntate Hlonimaleme. We combine our organizations with our key service providing, né? But now it operates as one. That's what you mean about holocratic organization.
Let me put it this way. A holocratic organization means in essence that everyone is the leader in his or her own right within your business, that your employee does not need you to supervise him or her for her to give results or do the job. Whichever way this works. I am citing this because during the pandemic, most of the employees found themselves working from home. There was no one to supervise them. There was no one to consistently say, please don't work while you're on your phone. So they had to have the ability or the consciousness to self-manage and self-lead. It's in contrast to this hierarchy where there is someone. Hence, I made an example of a supervisor. One of the military terms is the word subordinate. Subordinate simply means that there is someone whom you look down upon. Sub means down, and ordinate means you are just an ordinary somebody, and I am on top. So when you speak about these military terms or military approaches to building businesses, it means you need someone to consistently be there to manage or guard that you are giving results. And today's businesses, you can be employed sitting there on your chair by a company in the US of A or China or Germany. And they are not going to have a supervisor supervising each and every activity that you do, but they are going to be obsessed with results and be obsessed with giving them what they required of you. And that, my friend, requires of you to have self-management and self-leadership consciousness. That is what we mean by holacratic approach to business.
Thank you, sir. We continue to see giant players, especially in the retail space, in the food industry, exploiting our township economy so hard. There's a picture that is trending right now with the comment on top, where Pick n Pay is identifying tech shops and adult beverages stores where they brand them and they give them uniform and they force them to buy their stock from them. Would you say the reason why big giants continue to explore our township economy sits in our ability to read the market trends?
I think I would perceive this, maybe before I comment, I would just want to say it's a paradox. I really thought and sat down to think through this approach by one of these retail giants that you name. There are two things to this. One of the perspectives I would bring to you is that it can be a smart move, but if there's a general consensus amongst us as Black people and amongst us as people who are living in townships to be willing to learn and study their business models, to study how they do things and how they manage their businesses, it gives you access to information, to value chain, and to understanding how they build this model, so that maybe 15 years from now, or 10 years from now, you and your kids and your generation can be able to build a similar model which can outcompete them, that is 100% owned by you and totally in control of you. That's one dimension to it. The other dimension which I would want to employ and really assess is that there is no synergy amongst us as a people. And I would want to acknowledge the previous speaker who spoke about what happened to the tuck shop economy.
Yes, sir.
That we are really not, or we lack vision of where we see these tuck shops and these businesses. He even made an analogy of one of the individuals who was selling just next to the university premises, that 10 years when he went back to the University of Pretoria, he found the same man, the same commodity, the same price at the same stage. So in as much as we would want to resist on sitting with these tuck shops that we have, is that all we can do? Or can we harness the potential that we have and build beyond just our immediate corner? Go tloga ka 7 o fitlhelela ka 80 a nna kgathatse bo dibuseng ha ba batla go reka.
Leader, as we continue to scan and investigate possible ways of what are the real requirements to the new economy. One, I have lost sound.
I can hear you.
Sure.
I can hear you. Yes,
all right. In trying to find opportunities and mastering the arts and science of the moving economy, one of the requirements of the new economy right now is your ability to influence customers. before you could even sell to them. So I know you said you don't want to focus on the only visible part of the economy where you give a person a direct strategy, but I'm seeing one person who's just sitting and saying, I can hear what you're saying in terms of the trends, but keying that I can use so then I can be able to still be able to build online presence. Share the strategies, one or two, with our entrepreneurs.
If you are a business or an entrepreneur, you're a speaker, you're a coach, you are whatever level of significance you hold within this economy, please make sure that by the end of 2020, at least you have a website so that your business, your brand can become a digital citizen, which is active. One of the common mistakes, and I submit this humbly to you, that most often than not, we start at the social media part without having a clear marketing strategy that our social media strategies can be part of. So social media, by just simply coining or using the word media, which is a plural term of medium, it means it's just a tool or it's a channel that you can use to communicate. It's a medium that you use to communicate your message. It is not the strategy. So you must at least have a strategy, and in one of the ways that you're going to connect and meet the other end, you must have medium, which is social media or the social networking site. So that's one of the I think nuggets I can leave with our clients here, because many times when we start a business, the first thing we do a Facebook page, we do Twitter account, we do Instagram account, and then we don't even have the content strategy to maintain all those platforms, because you are inviting me to the party, and then when I get to the party, there's no music. Budaza o kila botsa potso nngwe Matlabe, mokete o senang nama ha ke so bone.
Look, my last question before I attend the attendees: why was it so easy when after the lockdown, everyone withdrew their marketing costs? You know, everyone got a hold of it, and a lot of our people lost businesses because of that. Two, in addition to that, how crucial is it for you to continuously work on your marketing plan and strategies as an entrepreneur?
I think in many ways, how we have perceived marketing, it's marketing becoming a cost, or our inability to assess or to evaluate the cost and income relationship between how much we are spending on marketing and how much that brings to our business. Therefore, when crisis hit, we look at marketing as a cost, but not as an income generating tool that sustains our businesses for us to be able to survive even in hardest of times. So it's one of the things that I think many of us, we fail to do. So if we can really look at your books and look at the past 12 months and look at your marketing budget and ask you, of this much, how much do you think this money you spent brought back into your business? If you are unable to answer that question, my friend, then it's easier for you. It makes sense why you must cut on a budget in times of crisis, because you cannot see how much contribution that spent has had on your business. So it's one of those submissions which I would want us to think about and assess as to how can we better remodel our marketing activities and be able to evaluate the relationship with those activities with the sales that we have. There's a reason why earlier on, this branch of knowledge was called marketing and sales. And then I think it's a fundamental mistake that we did to detach sales from marketing. But I understand it's for the purpose of respecting the discipline and the art on the other side.
Because, you know, Mr. Matlabe, sometimes it happens that you have a good product, or you have a good sale, you have a good, well value adding service, but you fail to understand the channel, the consistency, and the content, which is the reason why at times we end up not even reaching to a point where we could measure the return on impact on what we have invested in. Sometimes a common thing or a decision that we took after this, after the announcement of the lockdown, was that whatever that we were investing in a traditional way of marketing, we took the same amount with all the savings that were cutting, and then we invested online, because we understood we don't have an in-house marketing person. We had to outsource that part of our business. So I think as much as we're still looking for ways to stay operational during this pandemic time, let's allow people to do what they do. Outsource where you can, so then you keep your business operational. Mr. President, let me go to your people and hear what they've said. Renale, we are with you, Metapeli. Bua re mametse. Teamwork it is. And then, right, Josias, I have lost, oh, I think he had lost the sound at that time, right? Ndate Joseph, thank you, Abuti. One thing about most businesses is that they perceive marketing as a small part of the business, when in fact marketing is the breaker or maker of any business. Josias Baitapili, there is no audio received from your side. Please assist. Oh my gosh. Ndate Josias, I hope that you're able to hear us. I'm not sure what was going on, sir. The holocratic structure sounds very ideal for organizations, because we live in a world characterized by rapid change. However, with the hierarchy structure, there are clear lines of accountability, and an organization implement the holocratic, people will not pull their weight in working as a team. Yes, sir.
But I think I understand the question of Major Bulile Nhlapo.
Yes, sir.
One of the things which I believe we must be conscious of is that in today's world, in today's economy, much as people don't have options, much as people have more options, and that we as entrepreneurs and business people, we must be conscious that when people join our organizations, they don't only join our organizations on the basis of their desperation and the inability to find any organization to join, but they join our organizations and can stay as part of our organizations because of the purpose, because of our why, because of our mantra, not only because of our slogans, because of there's a bigger picture, and they see themselves as part of that bigger picture, because there's a vision that they see that you as the CEO, as the organization is having. They see the contribution that you have, that you can play within your community, within your country, and in the world. And once they understand that, it becomes easier for them to give you everything that they have to make sure that you achieve that vision, you achieve that goal, you achieve or you realize the potential that your organization has. Hierarchy in its introduction, and I think when we speak about strategy, it's a military term, it's really not a business term. It comes from a military, and everything that has to do with hierarchy, it means you use dominance, it means you use people must obey. But holocratic, people must engage, people must feel as part of those that are achieving results. People must see themselves as achievers, but not as individuals. So if you are performing good in a company, the immediate motivation shouldn't be being promoted. But there can be ways in which you can compensate value that an individual is bringing in the organization. Some of the global companies have done that. Think about it this way. If you are in a school and you are a good mathematics teacher, you are perfect and you always give us 100% of results. Will it be good for us to move you to make you a school principal or headmaster just because you are giving us good results? The logical answer is no, because you are best at where you are, giving us the best results and helping the organization to reach its maximum potential. There can be a way or means to compensate and to reward value that you are adding while you are still there. Hierarchy suggests then that we give you promotion and we make you an HOD while you are not good with administration. And then we make you a headmaster while you cannot lead your peers. But holacratic allows us a freedom to compensate you, to reward you, even though you are where you are at. And then you can continually give us your best, because that is the place where your makeup, your internal engineering is able to sustain and flourish. I hope ke arabile hantle me Jabulile Nhlapo.
All right, sir. All right. I think that was the last question. Ntate Matlabe, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for giving us so much information. Lastly, what services do you have for us as entrepreneurs during this critical time? And I can see already the contact details are there and how people can keep the conversation after the session with you. So what can you offer us as entrepreneurs?
There are a number of things. I think now during the time of change, people don't know how to manage or deal with this change. From a strategic point of view as a strategist, we can help you. And we have a boutique consulting agency that we run, where we do research, we get the brief, we go through strategies, we go through insights, we monitor how you implement those strategies, and we can even evaluate the performance of your business. So that's one of the things we can give from strategic bureau. On the other hand, we do marketing and digital technology services. So you want your business to be digital, you want your businesses to be online, you want your business, you either have a concept, an idea, whatever that you have that you think can flourish. It's what we are your go-to guys. So in terms of making a business digital, in terms of ensuring that there's success in this era and your business, one thing I think I must make clear is that you must not be in technology business, but you must find ways in which you can use technology in your business for your business to survive. So when we speak about pivoting, we don't speak about starting a new business, but we speak about remaining in your business, but changing the model and finding ways that your business can survive and can still be relevant. Fuji films exist today, while Kodak is dead, because Kodak could not pivot, but Fuji films had the ability to pivot. So if you want your business to pivot, if you want your brand to pivot, if you have any other concept that you think needs refining, needs technocrats, needs an agency of your choice, we are your go-to guys. My contacts are there. Contact me at any time. Otherwise, you can go on our website, www.lenakamedia.africa, and see some of the work that we have been doing. There are a number of software, there are a number of programs that we've been developing busy for some of our clients. As a matter of fact, now we are about to launch a provincial campaign in one of the departments within the province, because this time calls for each and every government department, each and every corporate to be relevant and to communicate with its clients and its customers. So ntate Motaung ka bokgutshwanyane ke sa ilololo ngwaneso. Ke kopa ho nehela dithapo ho wena.
Change is the name of the game. If it's either you become disruptive or you get disrupted, it's up to you. Ntatwaka, on behalf of MindThink Institute family, on behalf of all our attendees, let me thank you very much in your busy schedule to take time and be with us and spend your hour in pastoring to us. So we are excited and we look forward to working with you going forward.
Ntate Motaung ke lebohile haholo. Ke sentse ke re katleho le mahlohonolo. Dikgwebong tsa rona, let's be resilient and remember that the only thing that is constant in this life is change. If you are not going to adapt, unfortunately, my friend, you have died. You are not going to die. You have died.
Amen. Already. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for making time and being with us. Like I always say, it's such a nice time. You know, when you have this juicy content now, the time swings, it moves so fast. But look, tomorrow we're still back and we still going to continue with our 14th episode tomorrow, like at 7 p.m. Like I always say, please check your spam emails at least midday to look for the link, because the links are sent in the morning or at night before. So if you don't get the link, because it becomes difficult to send you the link while we are 2 minutes before we go in order to make sure that you don't miss the session. Please make sure midday you contact us, whether you WhatsApp on 083 2140 047. 083 2140 047, or you send us an email at hello@mindthink.org.za. hello@mindthink.org.za. Ladies and gentlemen, until we meet tomorrow, I'm out. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stop.